a big part of this is the fact that, imagine, I am the frontman founder, right? Obviously, I have co-founders with me. I am the CEO. I am the board. I am the secretary, right? Like, I'm everything. And this was the point where I started to realize, actually, this is not a problem of a dividend. This is actually a problem of governance, of like this, like we need to rethink this. And slowly I started to think, actually, maybe I shouldn't be CEO, and maybe I should be the board, because I don't want investors. It's not going to happen. And because we started to see this clarity of, let's keep this a private business for as long as we can, a business that will last as long as possible, then actually I should build a great leadership team, and I'm on the board kind of driving more the vision and where we're going with the business. And I started this 2-3 year project very slowly, very secretly, of building that out.
Interesting. And I think that dovetails into a conversation we had before we hit record, which was this kind of distinction between built to sell versus, how did you put it? Building so that you could sell. Explain to me your thinking between those and how those are different.
Yeah, I'm glad that you brought that up. So look, when I read the book Built to Sell, and I loved it, it brought so much clarity around the way you think about the business as an entity, right? In terms of like, and like how you intertwine with that. So that was a big takeaway for me more than anything. And I think the ability to sell a business with you not kind of being an intrinsic part of it had more value to me than the sale itself. I know it sounds crazy, but it's because you're building the company in the right way. But ultimately, we also knew that we wanted to build a company that was worth something. It was the whole idea we mentioned earlier of, you're not selling your time, you're building equity, right? So if you can't sell something, then there is no equity. It's a concept of selling. However, the balance to that, and I think it comes from my experience in being in businesses that were actively planned to be sold, but ironically, were not built to be sold. So it's quite interesting. And when I read your book, in looking back at my experiences, I realized that. So I wanted to do the opposite. So I wanted to build a company that could be sold, but not plan to sell it. So what does that mean? So I think there's something dangerous in planning to sell, in terms of kind of thinking, but what would make this company more valuable, and how could we kind of increase the value and whatnot? And because I think it's dangerous, because it leads you down paths where you take dangerous decisions. So in my opinion, you should run a business with a cause, right? More than anything. I think that's the most important thing. Why? Because business is not monopoly. It's not a finite game, right? There's no end to it. So if you're planning to sell, then you're making it into a finite game. So I think it's more important to make it into an infinite game and have this cause, like, so you're thinking about running this forever. And what's going to keep us going forever? So you can't sit down and planning selling the business, because then you already failed, in my opinion. But you need to build it in a way that it can be sold, because if you are building something valuable and you miss that part, then you're missing one of the most important things in building equity. So that's my logic around.